Good morning, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing a video to you on a subject that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know, and that is something that may be not commonly known about faith. If you are familiar with the idea of faith, it's believing without proof, basically. That's the meaning I'm using here in this video, believing without proof. And sometimes you have to. In fairness, we all have faith of one kind or another, even those who claim not to. You see, even those people have faith because you have to have faith just to get through the day. You really do, because you can't measure everything. You can't prove everything. And even if you don't have faith in some success or happy ending, you've got faith in something. Maybe failure, maybe that's actually very common that somebody might have faith in failure, but that's not the subject here. The subject here is something that isn't commonly known about what gives rise to the need to have faith. We hear a lot about this stuff. I mean, if you go to church, you've pretty much heard about faith and how valuable it is, how necessary it is. But when you look at the idea objectively, and when faith is called for, that is when you do not know, by definition, you cannot measure or prove something, you are ignorant by definition of the details of that thing, whatever it is. So this is an interesting idea. I'm going to say that again. It's a little bit complex. So faith is called for when there is ignorance about something. There are logical conclusions that can be drawn just from this fact alone, such as you can make people faithful by denying them education, by denying them answers, information, measurements, data, so that they have to take things on faith and moreover get in the habit of taking things on faith from you. An authority, right? Does this sound familiar? Does any of this sound familiar? Because it's not a new idea. None of this is new stuff. There have been historical events, well-documented events in many countries called brain drains, inflicted on the people by their own governments, their own authorities. Brain drains when the establishment of a place decides that its own people are a threat to it. Sometimes they will go out of their way to deny them education, deny them any kind of voice. It kind of spirals out of control. Historically, it precipitates war because the people typically don't stand for it once it becomes obvious, for obvious reasons, I hope. But back to faith. This isn't about global politics. This is about how you recognize when somebody doesn't have a plan, because that's also connected. That's connected. When you have a plan, that is to say, when you have an expectation of some kind of outcome, that's what a plan is, if you ask me. You've got steps, perhaps, and an expectation of an outcome. That is to say, you know what the steps are, which is the opposite of having faith, which is when you don't know. If you don't know, then you need faith. I'm not being rude. This is just the definition of the word. If you don't know, if you can't measure it, if there's no proof, if there's no plan, you need faith. So before people sell me without any kind of preamble about faith and its merits, I need to know why we can't measure it, whatever it is. I need to know why we're taking something on faith when we've got perfectly good yardsticks and such. Why are we all ignorant about this, and why does it need so much faith all of a sudden? I mean, some things maybe. Everything, by default, as a preference, I see that as a mistake. I see that as a problem. I like to know, at least the relevant details. If they're measurable, come on now. That's only safe. I'm sorry. Holy crap. Okay, so anyway, I'm not trying to be rude again, but maybe faith isn't the best first step. Maybe faith is a good, backup plan. Maybe faith, if you need it, to get from point A to point B is a great thing. But it's the if you need it, I think. If you need it. And don't let other people force you to be faithful just by denying you information, because that's possible. They do it. People do that. Anyway, I hope everybody has a great day. Reach out with questions or comments to whitehotrobot@gmail.com. Thank you.